This is Dr. Barbara Sherry Rose. I am so excited that you are here to watch this video, how to be treated like a queen in your romantic relationships. I've got to share with you first that I came from a background that was severely dysfunctional, very unhealthy, and for the great majority of my life I had very unhealthy, unhappy, abusive relationships. I used to be Earth's biggest doormat, and I was in pain most of the time. No one ever taught me how to have a healthy relationship. What does it take on the inside to be treated like a queen? And that is exactly what I'm going to teach you now. That's my job, is to help you get from where you are, if you feel you're not being treated like a queen, to being treated like a queen. So everything I share is totally transformational. Just take it into your heart, into your mind. Now, the first thing is you've got to become your own best friend. And how you become your own best friend is you stop telling yourself anything about you to you in your own mind that's negative. You stop complaining about yourself, that you're not good enough, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too short, you're too tall. Whatever you feel your shortcomings are, that's not the core of your being, okay? These are just views that you have about yourself that you might have been used to all of your life. Maybe people put you down growing up, just like it happened to me. So I used to believe those lies. So when you notice in your mind that you're telling yourself anything where you feel that you're falling short about yourself, that you're not good enough, immediately stop those thoughts and just tell yourself one quality that you know for real that you really have, such as that you're a really loving person. I'm venturing to say that you are a really loving person, because the days of putting up with abusive behavior, dysfunctional behavior, have got to stop now. If you're in a relationship and you are not being treated like a queen, where it's healthy, where there's healthy communication, where there's reciprocity, you reciprocate and help each other and love each other, where you speak openly and honestly to each other, where there is zero games, no manipulation, no jealousy games, no tactics to try to hurt the other person or get the other person wrapped around your finger, no control issues. All of those issues are completely dysfunctional and they hurt. So one night I was giving a seminar on the phone. It was a global teleseminar. And there was actually a guy that asked a question. And he's like, Barbara, nobody is perfect. And, you know, how do you just like walk away from somebody who's not completely healthy? And I gave him the analogy, which I'm going to give you right now. Let's say you have your hand in a pot of boiling water and it hurts. That's you in the relationship, either present or past, that hurt. You take your hand out of the boiling water so it can heal. That's leaving the relationship, removing yourself from any abuse, any dysfunctional, hurtful patterns. But then you decide, oh, I want to give it a try again. And then you put your pinky back into the pot of boiling water. It's going to hurt. Abuse hurts. When someone puts you down, degrades you, calls you insulting names, insulting comments, or snide remarks, or maybe you feel like you're going crazy. Maybe they tell you something and then they say they never said that. That's mental abuse. Physical abuse is anything that hurts physically. Emotional abuse is when they hurt your feelings and it hurts. So you and only you, no one in the universe, I can't do this for you, no one can do this for you. If you are in a relationship and you are feeling pain the majority of the time, you have to walk away from the pain so that you can heal, restore, come into a place of real self-love where you are observing the good qualities that you have within yourself. You're not telling yourself airy-fairy affirmations that your ego is not going to believe, but you are noticing the good qualities that you have. Maybe you're really responsible. Maybe you're really caring. Maybe you are a loving, kind, compassionate person. Maybe you like to help out a friend who's going through a hard time. No matter what, maybe you care for your pet. Whatever you're doing in your life that comes from the good qualities in your heart is what I want you to notice. and start to notice, hey, I was really kind to this person who was hurting. That means you're really kind. Or I went to work today, or I left my job because I hated it. That's being really loving to yourself as well. When you notice yourself doing things in your observable actions that you like, that you can feel good about, that you can feel proud of within yourself, not on an ego level, but you just feel like, hey, I was really kind to that person who was hurting, and you feel good about yourself. This is what I want you to start noticing. Every time you tell yourself a degrading comment within your own mind, I need you, you must stop that consciously. No one and nothing in the universe can control the thoughts that go through your mind. And this is how the process of transformation is. This is pure personal growth and transformation, which leads to relationship transformation. It leads to life transformation. So I want to give you these steps that really, really work. Becoming your own best friend means that you have a zero tolerance for abuse of any kind. So if you're dating somebody and they put you down and insulted you or called you a degrading name, you walk away. You don't stay in that relationship. It doesn't matter if it's been 5 minutes or 5 years. You leave, because you can't change another person. If somebody tells you some BS like, oh, you made me mad at you, well, let me give you a heads up. If you called me any kind of degrading name, I would just, say, okay, this person's entitled to their perspective. I wouldn't take it into my being and be hurt and start crying. So you can call me any negative name you want, and it's really not, it's just going to bounce off of me, because I've come to feel genuine appreciation and self-love, putting myself on even keel with the rest of the human race. I'm certainly not better than anybody, and I'm not less than anybody. I'm just equal to you, and you're equal to me, and we're all equal to each other. Things that are of a material nature, if you think you need to buy certain pocketbooks or clothes or status symbols, they will never give you self-love and self-esteem. It has to authentically come from the inside out. So you have these ground rules. If you're going to play a game of any kind, and life can be a game because it can be fun and exciting, you have to shift your consciousness. What I want you to do is, when you finish watching this video, is take out a pen and paper and write down the ideal qualities you would love to attract in a relationship. The ideal qualities of the other person. Maybe I wish he pays attention to me, or I would like it if he sent me flowers, or I would like it if he listened to me, or I would like it if he kept his word to me. And here's the little, it's not a trick, but it's the transformation. Take out he and put I. I wish I listened to me. I wish I was there for me. I wish I paid attention to how I felt. I wish I was my best friend. So when you become that, and you are devoted and committed to your personal growth, to your self-love, you become that person. But you've got to move away from anyone and everyone who is putting you down or hurting you in your life. Because if you don't walk away, nothing's going to change. So you have to exit the relationship. If there's somebody that, maybe it could be a parent or a very close relative, maybe for some reason you can't exit the relationship, as soon as they start to tell you anything abusive or anything, you just say, you know what, I'm not listening to this. And you get off the phone, or you walk out the door. And because you've got to have zero tolerance policy for abuse of any kind. Now, if I met a guy, and I certainly have in the past, where the first time, the first sentence, the first word that was hurtful, that was the last time they saw me ever. There was someone once who I was on the phone with, and I was seeing the person for a while. And they said, well, I'm going to the store to buy milk and I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Well, 3 hours later, I didn't hear from him. And I'm thinking, maybe something happened to him. Maybe he got mugged. Maybe he's lying in the bushes bleeding or something. So I texted him. And he texted me back saying, oh, I'm just tired. I'm going to sleep. Well, you know what? He never, ever, ever heard from me again. I am not going to complain and whine, and neither are you. Complaining, whining, saying, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you tell me this earlier? That's who they are. We cannot, you cannot, I cannot change another person any more than you can go up to an apple tree and start begging and pleading for strawberries. It's not going to happen. You know what? No one can transform you except you. So it's being your own best friend. It's observing the qualities that you have, the good qualities inside. It's stopping all negative self-talk to yourself about yourself and to anyone else about you. If you're complaining about your life, stop all complaints. Write down your goals of your ideal life. But this is not about your whole life. This is just about being treated like a queen. And only accept the behaviors that are in alignment with your goal, with what you deserve. You deserve, every person on the planet. And if you're a guy watching this, you deserve to be treated like a king. Maybe you're a guy and you attract women who are abusive and hurtful and playing games with you, and they're not really faithful or loyal, and you don't really know where you stand. You don't toss them. Take yourself and remove yourself from this person, because you deserve better. So whether you're male or female watching this, we all deserve the best. The only way you're going to ever have it is when you give yourself the permission to move away from anything that is not in alignment with what feels good to you on every level. Someone who's supportive. You need to be supportive of yourself. Someone who follows through. You need to follow through for yourself. This is the work that you do. Like, well, am I following through for myself? Am I being my own best friend? Am I walking away from anybody who's abusive? Completely just never ever having any contact. You just move forward with your life. You can view the person with loving compassion. You don't have to hold any resentment or anger or any negative emotions whatsoever, because they're totally toxic. And you just remove yourself from anything that is not in alignment with what feels loving and true and pure and good. Now, if you're in a relationship and you have a disagreement with somebody, you can disagree, and there doesn't have to be any abuse at all while you're disagreeing. You might have one opinion, they might have another. So you can speak about it openly and honestly. You can speak about your feelings, and hopefully the other person has self-love. And when a person has self-love, they would never demean you. They would never put you down, because they love themselves. So we attract into our life the identical mirror image of who we are, who you are, who I am, on the inside. What we really believe about ourselves. That's on the conscious level, it's on the subconscious level. So if you're attracting another hurtful relationship, that's letting you know, hey, I have some healing and some growing to do and some transformation in the area of self-love, self-acceptance, self-approval, self-validation, and self-esteem. And that's what this is about. You can get any of my books, Stop Being the String Along, A Relationship Guide to Being the One, Know Yourself, Individual Power. There's books that I've written, but I'm not here to sell you a book. I want to give you the steps right now so that you have it. So when you make your list of the ideal type of partner that you wish you could have in your life, and you cross out he and you put I, and you become that person for you. And as you do, you're going to notice that you're going to start to attract healthy people who are functional instead of dysfunctional, who communicate openly and honestly instead of with authoritative control, bullying you, pushing you around, cheating on you, being unfaithful, playing games with you. Because you would not do that to the other person. Hopefully, and if you do, hopefully you'll put a stop to that right now. Because it feels really good to have a loving, equal, reciprocal relationship. And yes, I have experienced this. It really exists on earth. I promise you. So I hope you take these points into your heart, into your mind, and most importantly, implement them. Put them into action within your own mind. And tell yourself, you don't have to work on yourself. You're not a car in an auto body shop. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You might just need some transformation. You might just need some inner love, self-love, self-restoration, self-transformation, moving only in the direction that feels true and right to you on every level of your life. Remove yourself from the naysayers in your life. And at the first sign of anything that's hurtful and abusive, you remove yourself from that person and you just go forward with your life. You don't have to engage and tell them anything, or if you want to say something to them, you can, but chances are they might lash out at you. And that's the last thing you want. So I want you to experience being treated like a queen, because you can be. If I can be, you can be. And I'm no different from you. It took me quite a while to integrate self-love and have really high self-esteem, that I have a zero tolerance policy for abuse of any kind. And you know what? I attract people into my life who are loving and supportive and honest and open with their feelings and caring and generous and compassionate, and they would never do anything to hurt me. I want this for you. It's totally possible. It's totally doable. Implement these steps, and I promise you, if you're observing every day in your observable actions all of the goodness that you have, and you're reminding yourself and telling yourself, hey, this was really kind of me, or nurturing. Maybe you fed your kitten or your puppy or dog or your goldfish or your child. Say, this was really loving, this is really nurturing, I'm a loving, nurturing person, because it's based on your observable actions. So your ego is going to actually believe it, because you're not just telling yourself, oh, I love me, because your ego will be like, who do you think you're kidding? Okay? So I hope this helps you with all of my heart. Implement it. Remove yourself from anything that's negative and hurtful, and only tolerate the absolute best. Give yourself the absolute best from the inside out, and I promise you the day will come that you experience that in a relationship and you are in fact being treated like a queen. So I send you tons of love, and I really hope this helped you. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more content, free content, go on my website, borntoinspire.com, and there's a whole bunch of stuff about this issue that you can read for free. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.